How was it working with Levon Helm?
About as good as it gets. And we were doing something for the Pixies, and they wanted an old New Orleans slop beat. And I said, if you want to call some of those guys in New Orleans, they invented it. But if you want the real guy to do the real thing, get Levon Helm. And they flew him in. Said, one take, that was it.
Wow.
Oh, he could do it. He could play that old slop beat. And we wound up, when we were with him, with the RCO All-Stars, we wound up playing the Superdome.
Wow.
Mardi Gras. And that's where they bring in all of the floats from the parade.
Right.
Put them in a circle. So we got to see all those floats really up close with all the flowers and all this stuff or something. And all that Mardi Gras stuff. And they get up there. Some of them are just trailers and they throw beads out and all that kind of stuff. And most of them are just flatbed trailers being pulled by some kind of cab, or, you know, a regular truck or a big truck or whatever it takes. But it was a lot of fun. And he played that old stuff that he used to sing on with the band and all that. And ain't nobody like him. So you want to know about Levon Helm? He was one of the best drummers I ever worked with.
Oh, wow.
Other than Al Jackson. He had a big respect for Al Jackson. So did Anton Fig and a lot of other drummers.
Yeah.
So
he just gets better with time. With age, he gets better and better and better. And so Jeff Beck has just got better and better and better. And I don't think he's ever topped the song that we had, the Going Down. They still play it, as you well know. I think it's simple. And it was originally an instrumental that we had for Booker T and the MGs. And originally we had a Slim Jenkins joint because that was the name of the hamburger place we used to go to, the joint we used to go to next to the studio. So I come to work one day and it says Slim Jenkins joint. And I went inside, wrote the song. So when we got ready to put the record out, they said, "Oh, that's too suggestive. You can't use that. You got to change it." So we changed it to Slim Jenkins Place. So that's the record that came out, Slim Jenkins Place.
Oh, yeah.
So Don Nix, our old baritone player, and he also had the Alabama State Troopers, I think was his big band later after the Marquis. But he was the baritone player in the Marquis and went to school with Duck and I. And he was producing Freddie King up in Chicago. And he wrote lyrics to Going Down, and he wrote the Going Down. That was Slim Jenkins Place. He wrote lyrics to it and cut it on Freddie King.
Wow.
Going down, 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 down. I love it.
You produced the album, the one they call the Orange Album, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jeff Beck Group.
Jeff Beck Group. Mm-hmm.
There was Max Middleton and Bobby Tench and Columbia playing drums, and not Bobby Columbia, but Cozy Powell, I think, played drums on that.
Yeah, that's a great record.
Chapman played bass. Bobby Tench was a singer on that. I had no idea when I was producing. He was also a great rock guitar player. I had no idea. Wow. So through the years, he did that, and I just knew him as a singer. He never mentioned he played guitar. I wouldn't either around Jeff Beck. It was kind of hard for me, and I'd sit there and I go, well, I know a little bit about guitar. No, you can't get that there. You can't get that sound and play in that position. He did. Whatever's in his head, that's what he played. His hands just played. I mean, I've heard him playing by ear, but that's just ridiculous. He just could make a guitar do whatever he wanted it to do. Whatever's in his head, that's what came out of it.
Right. He was still playing with a pick back then, wasn't
he? Yeah, more than the finger touch stuff.
Yeah.
And I think on that album, he used one of my old amps. I think the Gibson Switchmaster. And that's a pretty good amp. We also use that amp on the Tower Power record. Bump City album. We use that amp. And that's the one I brought over to TMI. The other one, the one I started with, the Harvard amp, the Fender Harvard, that was the Green Onions and some older stuff and some other things I did. But I kept that at home. I didn't bring that out too much. And I still had it. It's in Smithsonian right now. And I couldn't give him the guitar. I don't know where it is. And I said, I'll give you the next best thing, the amp I played through. which they enjoyed that quite often. They thought that was pretty cool.
Well, I was just going to ask you because he died, fairly recently. It was John Prine.
Well, John was just a super guy, and we stayed friends through the years. And I remember in an interview one time, they asked John, they said, "Man, that's a pretty good record. When are you going to make another record in Memphis?" He said, "Never." I guess he stuck to that. By doing that, he made it a classic, I think, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Common Sense record. And he had already had Hello in there and all that on a previous album and all. I mean, when they said, "We want you to produce John Prine," I wondered, "You do? Why?" Oh, I mean, he knew and I knew that was not my style, but I knew good songs. And he brought in Hootie Fly and Steve Goodman.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote some of that stuff and played on it. He gets off a plane. I go out to the airport to pick him up. He gets off the plane with an acoustic guitar in hand, playing Green Onion Down and playing the bass. You are crazy. So anyway, we became pretty good friends before he passed away. So